When you are on the go, you need your credit union to be right there with you. Hughes Federal Credit Union makes your life easier. For 65 years, Hughes has called Southern Arizona home and has given back to our community. Isn't that who you want as your financial partner?
Welcome to Greg Hansen's Video Notebook, brought to you by Hughes Federal Credit Union. I'm Star Sports Editor Ryan Finley, here with Greg Hansen. Greg, it is a slow midweek day, which must mean one thing. An Arizona underclassman is deciding to test the waters, and we need to come up with a better term, the NBA draft. Rawle Alkins decides Tuesday morning that he is going to pursue the NBA draft but not hire an agent. He joins a growing list of U of A guys. What was your first thought when he decided to try?
That maybe he lost touch with reality a little bit. Okay. But there's no penalty.
Right, there's no penalty.
So that might be a bit harsh to say that, but come on. He's not going to get drafted.
My issue with Alkins, and he can be a very good college player.
Yes.
And he can be everybody's favorite Wildcat here for as long as he chooses to play here, because I think he has that kind of personality. The issue with him is he needs to grow 2 inches.
Yeah.
And unless he can grow 2 inches in the next month and a half, I'm not sure he's a first-round pick. And I think the only reason to ever leave school early is if you're assured of being a first-round pick.
Yeah, second round doesn't cut it. I mean, go down the list from Miles Simon to Chase Budinger and on and on. If you're not a first-round pick, you're probably going to wind up in Turkey or Poland.
Right. Or in the D-League, and being in the D-League's not that much better at fate than playing in Turkey or Poland.
No.
Now, I mean, you look at and you used a great example in a column that's running this week of Nick Johnson. Did everything you could ask for as a college player at Arizona, had the tools, could jump out of the building, had the personality, was a winner, was a dynamic player, a good defender, an improving shooter.
A good kid.
A good kid, and is a second-round pick. And where is Nick Johnson today?
He's sitting on the bench in Munich.
Munich.
Yeah.
All of this proves, and you stated as much, this is no knock on Nick Johnson necessarily, nor is it a knock on Chase Budinger or anybody else. It's just hard to make it in the NBA, much less make good money in the NBA.
Of the second-round draft picks in the last 10 years, 300 second-round draft picks, 18 have averaged at least 24 minutes in a season.
Wow.
Per game.
Wow, I'm no math major. That is 6% though, of all guys drafted. That's incredible. And they're guys, I mean, it's like Draymond Green. I mean, it's somebody who you kind of stumble onto, and all of a sudden he's much better than he was in college. Even at Arizona, you kind of look on down the list. I mean, Luke Walton is one of them.
Yeah.
And let's see, Gilbert Arenas.
Yeah.
Maybe the only two recent second-round picks who have amounted to much.
And Chase, you know, he was a part-time player for 6.5 years.
Right.
So that's a success because he made a lot of money.
Right.
But otherwise, Arizona had 16 second-round picks in the last 25 years. 13 basically were bit players for a year or 2 years.
Wow. What does that mean for this team right now? Will Rawle Alkins look at the last 25 years?
No.
Okay.
No.
Do you think he's leaning towards going or staying, or do you think he knows?
I think he knows he's coming back.
Okay.
I mean, somebody's going to sit down with him, Sean Miller, and say, Rawle, you're going to be an all Pac-12 player for the next 2 years, and then you can go. And everybody will know you, and you'll have won something big by then. If you go now, you'll be forgotten. And you'll be playing, not in the first tier of EuroLeague, you'll be playing in the third tier.
And he is a guy who I think by staying 1 year or maybe two, is a guy who will always have a home in Tucson, if that makes any sense. I mean, he's somebody who, if he gets out of basketball and wants to come back to Tucson, he can be on billboards, he can be endorsing restaurants or opening a bar or selling real estate or doing something.
But 19-year-old kids, I don't think in terms of legacies.
No.
Not at all.
No.
So many of U of A basketball players who have left, and I thought, wow, don't they know what they could have been here? And they don't care.
Right. You think, aren't they having enough fun here?
Yeah, that's the
I mean, you're a household name on a campus of 30,000 people. My guess is life is good most of the time. Is this a problem or something, Greg, that needs solving? Do they need to tweak the rules?
But the Players Association hasn't made a move on that, where you've got to play 2 years instead of one.
Right.
Just seems to make more sense, looking out for the welfare of all the second rounders. The first rounders are going to make the money.
Right.
But all these second rounders, I mean, Dylan Brooks is leaving Oregon today, the best player in the league. He's probably not going to play in the NBA for more than a cup of coffee.
That's true. That's true. And it's funny, the top half of the first round is 15 guys who even casual fans like me and you can probably rattle off, right? The second round is where you get the veteran experienced college players. It's where you get the guys who may be really good at one thing but not good at anything else.
Sure.
That's where you're sort of taking flyers.
Remember John Brockman, who played for Washington?
Stud.
He was built, he was big, he was a rebounding machine. He stayed all 4 years. Goes in the second round. He plays in one NBA season.
Wow.
And now he's playing in Spain or Italy, one of them.
And it's not a bad life.
No.
It's just not the NBA.
Right. Joseph Blair didn't play 1 second, and he flunked out of school as a senior.
Right.
He didn't play 1 second in the NBA, he was a second-round pick, and yet he made millions in Italy.
Right. Michael Wright, and then we'll wrap up. Michael Wright left the U of A after 2 years.
Yeah.
After 2 years, his logic being he was never going to be taller than 6'8",
That's
right?
the one, yeah.
He's drafted by the Knicks in the second round, doesn't make it out of camp, plays overseas for 15 years, gets paid untaxed money,
Yeah.
lives a pretty good life.
And then he got killed.
Then he got killed, but lives a
Yes.
independent of basketball.
Yes.
Yeah, lives a pretty good life. I think that's the thing that somebody like Rawle Alkins is going to realize. Compared to the NBA, is playing in Europe disappointing? Of course it is. But still pretty good life. Still living better than most of us.
And you know Raleigh from New York City, all the basketball guys he's known, he's run into 2 or 3 guys who've played in Europe who told him, man, I'm making a lot of coin.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that'll do it for this episode of Greg Hansen's Video Notebook, brought to you by Hughes Federal Credit Union. For Greg Hansen, I'm Ryan Finley. We'll see you next time.